Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we're here to talk about everything finishing or slash related in NBA 2K22, so I hope y'all enjoy. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff, and let's try this one to 500 likes. So we're gonna get straight into the video. As a lot of you guys know from my last two videos, or anywhere else in the community that you've seen videos on of all this news and stuff, you guys know about the courtside report that Mike Wang drops every single pre-2K release, and as you can see, it's credited with him right here, Mike Wang, NBA 2K gameplay director. All this touches on all different types of news and topics and stuff like that he wants to introduce us all to before we get our hands on the game. Now, in my last video, I specifically touched on all things defensive related, whether it was from the 2K courtside report right here or specific tweets from Mike Wang that was dealing with only defense. Now, in this one, it's going to be only slashing related things. So I hope you all enjoy the video. And like I said, if you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, and turn on the noties. So the absolute peak of all the news that we got that was slasher or finishing related, it was most definitely the fact that they're going to implement a timing system on contact dunks or aggressive dunks, that this is also related to in this article. And then also, the alley-oops are going to be timed as well. So to pretty much read this word for word for anybody who just wants to listen rather than read, it says, "We also made a strong push to get more of a skill gap into finishing at the rim. As beautiful as our motion capture dunks were, it's a shame that once you saw one fire off, you basically knew it was an automatic 2 points. With the revamped blocking system, we're now giving rim protectors more tools to make great stops at the rim." So obviously this is more of a defensive related thing for me to talk about in this video. Obviously it's talking about how rim protectors are going to be more of a viable thing, and that's a good thing to hear also with how easy contact dunking was on next gen. Now obviously if you're somebody who is just completely all out team slasher, you want to see dunking as easy as it possibly can be, this is bad news to you. But me personally, who really loves taking the slashing game to the next level and trying to implement it into a skill-based thing, whether it be advanced collect moves of the hop, spins, euros, all types of stuff like that, or as you guys know, some crazy moves that we'll also talk about of the spin dunk that has been taken out. So anyway, like I said, I like this news. I think it's very good news, and me being someone who likes defense and finishing as well, I like both sides of this thing, where it makes it feel a whole lot more rewarding on the defensive end and not so bailed out and no skill oriented when it comes to finishing on the offensive end. So to just go in order of what this article goes to, like I said, here's the first little paragraph. Now I'll get to this one below it. This is on the dunking side of things. This highlighted area is just the alley-ooping stuff. So on top of that, on new gen, we've added timing meters to both alley-oops and aggressive skill dunk attempts, aka the stuff that's down here. When an alley pass is in the air, you'll need to press the shot button at just the right time to finish off the oop. If you're too early or late, you'll either smoke the finish or miss the catch completely. Side note, you can force bounce pass alleys this year. So I sure hope this is not tied to special delivery or anything like that, or flashy pass, or yada yada, whatever they call it. Anyway, if you had this on Hall of Fame, or even I think anything at all, sometimes when you do alley-oop passes, it would randomly just fire off a bounce pass that you absolutely did not want at all. And it would really just make it so special delivery was completely pointless to run, unless you're somebody who was completely cheesing the flashy pass sort of meta of the fades that we had until I would say the winter or so. So pretty much that dominated the game for like the first couple of months, which was really tragic. Anyway, long story short, I like this news, but I hope that it's not super OD complicated. I do think that finishing wide open dunks or just wide open alley-oop dunks shouldn't be too much of a complicated thing. However, I do really like the fact that they're adding some sort of a skill implementation in this of the alley-oop dunks, where there are a lot of times in Pro-Am where you'll just catch a lob, you feel pretty open, and there are just times that you can't really do anything about it because it's not timing based or anything like that. So you're just hoping for a make, or hoping for people to not get in your way and impact your make of the alley-oop, or hope that your lob city finisher and good dunk ratings can carry you for it, while also just sitting there and hoping that Intimidator doesn't fire off, or somebody's high interior defense ratings just make you miss when they're nowhere near you or anything like that. Long story short, I really do hope that this is implemented the right way. It sounds really cool, and I hope that if everything goes properly with this, that there's a really good skill gap implementation on this when it comes to finishing, whether it's finishing lobs or finishing contact dunks, that could really take slashing to the next level and make it less of a rage thing when someone contact dunks on you. Whereas now, maybe someone dribbles themselves open, kind of gets to the open side or the open gap, wherever it is for the right angle to get the dunk, which could always be a thing in previous games, but now gets themselves kind of into the spot where they can go for the aggressive dunk or the contact dunk, so to say, and actually time it properly. Now, what I'm really skeptical about is how hard it's going to be to time contact dunks or layups or anything like that. If you're somebody who is trying to time layups, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where For jump shooting, it's the exact same thing over and over and over and over and over again, unless you are someone who's like Ticino, who does hop jumpers, fades, you know, the little sidestep hop jumpers or whatever it may be. There's all different types of hop jumper animations you can get and timings on it. And long story short, that's what I'm talking about. But for people who are just pretty much quick stop and just shoot the same exact set jump shot every single time, or catch and shooters or anything like that, you're not gonna be able to relate to this, because I can guarantee you, for timing contact dunks or layups or whatever it may be, or alley-oops maybe even, there's not going to be a repetitive timing to it. You're going to have to be able to adjust and really see it. So don't expect to be able to. I already seen people who say they want to just take their shot meter off on the contact dunks in the first place because they have no interest in doing that. Long story short, it'd be stupid too, because you're not going to be able to actually, there's no chance you can time your stuff without a meter when it comes to the contact dunking. There's just no way at all. There's no repetitive animation to it ever. You're going to have to adjust on the fly and really be able to kind of adapt and just see it, time it, boom, get it, just like that. Anyway, aside from the alley-oops and stuff like that, we have onto the dunking side. Holding sprint and pulling straight down on the pro stick will trigger the aggressive skill dunks, which a lot of us has kind of thought as maybe a theory or a myth in 2K. I know I personally have always held down on the stick for as long as I can remember for the contact dunks, but I always felt like this was more of a myth thing in the game or in the community rather than something that was proven. But at this point, this is kind of the proof that it kind of explains to me that they've been doing this intentionally for years now. So I guess this is our clarification on it. Maybe at some point in time they were more verbal about this earlier and I just didn't know about it. Feel free to let me know in the comments if that is the case. But long story short, you could see holding down on the right stick is going to trigger the aggressive skill dunks. Now I wonder if this also means, without reading any further into this, that if you can just hold X or square, as PlayStation 5 calls it, if you can just hold X or square and just get your regular dunks and it's treated as normal as how it is. I'm pretty sure Mike Wayne touched that on his tweets as well. But also maybe holding up or right or left can choose your hand is still, and down is only for contact dunks. I'm hoping that's what it is, or the quote-unquote aggressive skill dunks, but I'm hoping that's what the mechanic is functioning as. So to continue, when you have a defender standing underneath the rim, using the aggressive skill dunk feature will let you basically force a dunk attempt on demand, as long as you have a strong dunker and you have a bit of runway. So that's good and bad to hear. I will put it like that. Now, me personally, I think it's really cool, and this will be really cool for all the actual slashers out there who, you know, have a little bit more to their game than just running straight at the hoop, hold X, call it good, or hold down, call it good. Like I said, there's gonna be more timing to it. I like the fact they're talking about with a bit of runway too, because I've always thought of this too, that you need to have built up speed to be able to dunk properly, which also rewards people who maybe have more ball handling on their build or anything like that. Now, I'm hoping what this all comes down to, if anybody has been with the news of the last couple of days of all the leaks that have come out, and I'm not going to talk about it too much, but pretty much, people were showing the My Player Builder. It looks very similar to Next Gen 21 and stuff like that, which I really don't like to see, but I'm hoping that there is some sort of balancing or kind of, I don't even know, some sort of way to make the builds more balanced and maybe less egregious and crazy, so to say, as, you know, having 95 three-pointer, driving dunk, and ball handle. Be stupid if you ask me, and then, you know, to still have defense implemented in that too. I guess either way, I am kind of cool with everybody being able to do everything, as long as included in that everything is also defense, so that, you know, people who are able to time their jump shot, be good at slashing, and be able to get themselves open as far as dribbling can be rewarded for all of those things. But at the same time, I just feel like when you have someone who has a really good ball handle, really good three-pointer, and really good dunk, it makes it so they don't have to actually be good at slashing to be able to get to the hoop and maybe get easy dunks, because the three-pointer and the speed with ball all make it so that the three-pointer makes it so they have to play up higher on you, which is already a given. And with slashers, it's obviously easier to defend if you're further back and can cut them off, have more room to kind of work with that. Whereas with the three-pointer, it makes it so you have to play up on everybody. And when you have to play up on everybody, equals easy blow-bys, and then it equals easy just dunks. Contact dunks from behind where you're just trailing the defender, or trailing the person you're defending, I should say. And you just get thrown into contact dunks every single time, or the corner helps off in 2v2 and just gets dotted every single time, or he helps off and still gets contact dunked because interior defense and block hardly worked last year, and it's just a very bad cycle. So we'll see what the My Player Builder is looking like, but for the moment, I have no choice but to think that this is all going to be really cool information, and I'm really looking forward to slashing, seeing a little bit of a skill gap implementation on it. So to continue back to what we were saying here, again, just to recap, you need a little bit of runway, and the aggressive skill dunk feature will basically blah 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 force a dunk attempt on demand. Now, what I think is going to be really cool too is if this whole let me highlight this in specific. Force a dunk attempt on demand. I know I didn't highlight the whole thing, but the key word here is attempt. I think this is something people should keep in mind when they hear force a dunk. They think this means completely like, oh, this is so broken, it's gonna be so stupid. But the whole attempt word, I think, is something you should definitely put a little bit of emphasis on. So what I think is gonna be really cool is if you see a couple blocks or block animations mid-contact dunk animation, where maybe someone didn't time it perfectly and someone else that is a really good interior defender or shot blocker is also going for the block too. I think it'd be really cool if you see people get thrown out of contact dunk animations or blocked contact dunks on top of that too, because to come all the way up to here, and I'll remember where I left off right here, this final sentence on this second paragraph right here, but to come up to this right here, this sentence speaks a lot of words right here. As beautiful as our motion capture dunks are, it was a shame that once you saw one fire off, you basically knew it was an automatic 2 points. I can't put enough stress on this sentence right here that I really do feel like they probably put a lot of focus and, you know, kind of just more stress on actually rewarding some shot block attempts, or people that have good interior defense, or people that have good shot block, or to kind of penalize the people who can't time their dunks at all when they're going for contact dunks that are kind of unreasonable in most people's eyes. So to come back to the final sentence right here, it's tough to hit the perfect timing for these high risk, high reward plays, but it's so gratifying when you can pull it off. This is exactly what I want to hear. Again, I mean, I just think it really is going to be cool to actually see some skill implementation to slashing. Not that I ever thought that it was zero skill. Me personally, you guys know how I stand on this. I think it's really hard if you're an offensive player that doesn't have any three-pointer, and pretty low ball handle for that matter too, of 70 or below, and to still be able to get yourself open, or open enough by your own standards, to actually go for the dunk every time. And a lot of people have this, like, they have this perception on slashing where it's just a small defender in the paint, and then a taller, bigger offensive player that has really good slashing stats and really good interior finishing, versus a player that has low interior defense or block or height or whatever the case may be, and they just sit here and get irritated because it takes no skill to do so. And I do agree in that sense, where it's an overpowered offensive player going against a very underpowered defensive player. But if you've played 2K20 and you were ever a slasher playing with someone else, not a point guard, but somebody who didn't really add anything to the offense at all, and the game was all in your hands, and they put a pure rim protector or even a rim sharp or anybody that's tall with red in their build in 2K20, it's very hard to actually offensively score like every single time while having a good interior rim protector on you. So long story short, to a kind of backtrack to this whole 2K21 next gen thing, I do think it's going to be really inconvenient if, once again, everybody just has super high three-pointer, dunk, ball handle, speed, all types of stuff like that. Because I really do feel like it makes it so true slashers just go completely extinct and you never see anything like that in the game. But it is what it is. I guess, you know, adapt with the times. It is the age of no more true slashers are really in the game in the NBA besides Giannis, Ben Simmons maybe, who's more of like a slash playmaker, so to say, or even a defender for that matter. And Giannis obviously is too. But long story short, you guys get what I'm saying. There's not too many people in the league that can't shoot the ball and are really like high-level superstars in the game anymore besides Giannis. And I do hope that there is a way for us to see more of a Giannis player, because in next gen that was kind of extinct if you ask me. Like a player who could dominate but didn't have three-pointer involved in it. But either way, I guess we'll see. To touch on another note right here, I don't really care too much for this. Not that I dislike it when I say I don't care too much for it, but I really don't care about it. We've also added dunk celebrations into the game this year that work very similar to the green released jump shot landing celebrations. So not only can you throw down some nasty dunks in traffic with the new feature, you can also equip your signature dance to show off a little bit afterward. I guess I don't really care about this at all, but we'll see. Maybe this will be something cool. I think, me personally, I just think it's kind of dumb because it'll take away from the animation aspect of things, where you really like think it's cool when you see the ones where your guy like stands over him or something like that. And now it's just kind of like, if you have choice to do it, I guess. I don't know. I don't really care about this, to be honest. Now, this final little piece of information is very, very interesting. So I'm going to unhighlight because some people probably just don't like reading off that, but this last little paragraph is pretty much what I'm getting at here. And the last thing I wanted to mention about dunks, in NBA 2K22, you'll now have the ability to completely customize your dunk repertoire with an all-new dunk style creator. This is a great feature that allows you to have detailed control over the exact style of your dunk packages and lets you equip more dunks on your player than ever before. This actually sounds very, very interesting. I would love to see how this actually goes down, and maybe what it means is, like, for anybody who wants to hold right on the right stick or left on the left stick, you get a very specific dunk animation. Or if you're someone who holds up, you want a conservative dunk or something that's going to be the quickest possible for somebody trying to chase you down from behind or anything like that. Or again, for the aggressive dunk, maybe there's more specification to that as well. I think this is a really cool idea. We'll have to see how they execute it, but that definitely sounds very, very interesting. So anyway, now over to the Twitter, where we're going to recap all of the tweets that Mike Wang had that were slashing related. So we're not going to spend too much time on this stuff because I felt like we already touched on pretty much everything from the article right there. So we'll just get to the stuff that's very, very interesting, and I'll make sure that none of this stuff is useless information for you guys. So this guy right here was asking how the timing is going to work. Mike obviously is saying that you just hold down on the right stick, the meter will start to fill, release the stick at the top of the meter. If you hit the perfect timing, you'll always make it. That's very interesting to hear. There's no way dudes are gonna come out here with Zens for contact dunks. I sure hope not, bro. There's no way, because I would think it's got to be different timings every single time you get a contact dunk, and the only way that you would possibly get the perfect timing on it is like if you had, maybe the dunk creator has like one very specific dunk animation that you always get for the contact dunk. Either way, I would assume there's no chance that this stuff is actually seen exploited at all. So just to kind of touch on this right here, because I know a lot of people are probably going to have a lot of questions about this, how maybe is right stick holding down the only way that you can get a contact dunk. So Mike does answer right here. You can still get contact dunks without using the aggressive skill dunk feature, aka down on the right stick, but they're a lot more rare. The skill dunk feature is in next gen only, by the way. For anybody who was wondering about this right here, now I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about not my move, my signature move, my special move. Look, man, it is what it is. As a lot of you guys know, I feel like I was the one that kind of got on this first, but I'm not going to be on that corny BS of trying to claim something as my own, like I'm some dog that's taking a #1 in a fire hydrant or something like that. Look, long story short, you can still spin dunk, but that cheesy one from the 3-point line is dead. He's talking about the right stick big spin dunk of moving laterally across the 3-point line, and you do a super like wild spin back to the inside or anything like that. Now, what Mike is pretty much saying is the double X spin dunk, or even right stick using your spin dunk to try and get the, I would say one that's more parallel with moving toward the hoop rather than away from the hoop, is still in the game, which, you know, is good to hear. Long story short, but either way, the big spin dunk has been taken out of the game, at least we think. We'll see when we load this up. So this one right here was already in the article, but we'll talk about this a little bit more. We're talking about the alley-oop timing right here. Quay asks, how does the alley-oop timing work? Is it as soon as you catch the ball? So Mike then responds, the meter pops up while the pass is in the air. That's very interesting too. So I wonder if you can pre-time this. Like for instance, you get the timing right while the ball is in the air, and whenever you leave off on is finalized. But I guess I need to read a little bit more. So the meter pops up while the pass is in the air. If you press the shot button too early, you'll miss the catch completely. That's very interesting to hear as well. I wonder, we'll have to test this out a little bit too. I sure hope there's a place where I can actually like practice my timing on alley oops. We'll see. That might be just kind of a trial and error thing that we just play the game a lot and kind of master over the time of playing that. But anyway, if you stop it inside the window, you'll make the shot, or have a good chance to at least. If you don't press the button at all, you'll catch and come down. So that's good to know as well. That'll be actually very interesting too. I mean, I know that's obviously been a mechanic for a long time. I have used that a lot when it comes to anything to do with Pro-Am or anything like that, because there might be a time where I just think it's unmakeable and I'll just catch it and come down. So standing contact dunks don't need to use the down on the right stick for the pro stick, you know, perfect timing, whatever it is. It's pretty much just standing contact dunks are standing contact dunks. You don't have to actually time it, and you're just going to be holding X pretty much. So a quick little rapid fire one. I just wanted to touch on this, and we'll go really quickly with these three things right here. So pretty much anything pertaining to aggressive skill dunking is only for next gen. That's one thing to mention. He also makes mention of floaters being more useful this year, so that'll be kind of interesting to know too. And then he says the dunk meter stays on even if the option for the shot meter is turned off. You know, a lot of people are just asking why not give an option to turn it off, but who cares? Like, you're never going to be in a situation where you'd want that off anyway, because if you do get put in a situation where you are going for the contact dunk, why would you ever not want to be able to see what the situation is? Then you're just going to be complaining that you're missing every contact dunk you go for because you're just holding X or holding down on the right stick endlessly, like all the way through the whole animation, and probably getting it very late every single time that you do one, really. Again, a little rapid fire, pretty much just yes, posterizers in 2K22, current and next gen. It boosts the frequency of getting the aggressive skill dunks or, you know, contact dunks in current gen, whatever the situation may be. You already knew this. It's very obvious this is going to be what this badge pertains to without even knowing anything about it. All right, so the last two things. We have the whole close shot thing. So pretty much you could take a floater, and if it's too far away, it'll probably be a mid-range. If it's close enough, it'll be a close shot. So that's something that's pretty good to know if you're someone who is a slasher. Here's the question for anybody who was just wondering. But long story short, close shot plus floater, where does that kind of tie in together? We'll have to test that out a little bit too. Hopefully this would be something that'd be really cool if 2K Labs tests. I might even run this by them a little bit too to see if they wanted to give this a little try at figuring out where the difference is between close shot and mid-range when it comes to floaters. If floaters are actually worth using in the game. If they become a mechanic where it's actually pretty useful, that'll be something I would bet you a lot of money that they would actually test in terms of their videos and stuff like that. So for the final bit of news right here, we have this one tweet that asks, what's the difference between pickpocket and ball stripper? So for anybody who doesn't know, this is a new defensive badge they added, and there's also an offensive badge that prevents you from getting stripped. It's a finishing badge, just to clarify, where it's only tied into the layups and dunks pretty much. So when you go for a layup or you go for a dunk and someone else has ball stripper and they go for a steal as you go for the dunk, pretty much they're gonna have a chance of stealing it. The defensive badge also increases the chance of the ball being stripped out right here. And Mike Wing says, pickpocket works against players who are actively dribbling or in triple threat as soon as the offensive player starts to gather, aka a layup, dunk, or just some interior shot. Steal attempts use ball stripper for success. I wonder if this is for hook shots or like, you know, standing layups or anything like that too. I think it'd be really cool to counter some post scores or anything like that for smaller players who might not stand a chance otherwise at contesting them on the interior. Because obviously, you know, for little Tony Allen or Rajon Rondos out there pretty much, they don't stand zero chance at defending a post player when they have the ball in the post, as long as the post player is doing a move that is going to allow the defensive player to actually strip the ball from them. Now, if they're just holding it high above their head and just throwing up some standing layup right above them, obviously they have no chance of doing anything to them. But if they're going to be having the ball at their hip, doing little power back downs and stuff like that and going for a hook shot, obviously you have to collect the ball below your waist doing so. So it is what it is, unless you're Kareem. Anyway, that's all for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. Like I said in the intro, let's try this one to 500 likes. And as you guys can kind of tell, I'm getting back in the swing of things here. I'm looking forward a lot to the release of 2K22, whether it be current gen or next gen. I'm probably going to make videos on both, and then I'm going to have a little bit of a feeling out process as far as what game I want to play. I need you guys to leave your feedback in the comments. I might even run some poll or something like that on YouTube. I tell you what though, man, when I run those polls on YouTube, the wolves come out, bro. All types of dudes crying about, oh, why don't you just make your own decision for yourself? Who cares about what your followers have to say or anything like that when you're trying to decide what game you're gonna play? Play for yourself. All types of just, it's so much toxic, like people who don't even follow me situation on those YouTube community posts. Anyway, long story short, I just want to know what game you guys want me to play. It's not gonna always like 100% factor into what game I'm gonna play, but I do want to know what you guys are out there going to be playing, and if I'm leaving a part of my community in the dust because I'm playing on next gen or something like that, which at the end of the day is obviously its own debate for another day, and you know, it is what it is. But I just want to know what you guys are thinking out there. I've ran some polls on Twitter. People were saying that they think next gen is going to be the move. They would want me to be playing on next gen mostly as well and stuff like that too. I would like to think that I stuck out on next gen all year last year pretty much, while a lot of other people kind of ditched for current gen. So I would think I'm probably someone who people would expect to stay on next gen as well. So it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not doing things to appease to other people 100%. I'm going to make my own moves for what I think is better for myself too, or what game I think I'm going to enjoy and could actually spend the most time uploading and making content on. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of people are getting tired of me saying that like 8 times too. But look, I am going to play whatever is going to be the best for content, make myself the most happy while doing so I can actually sustain this for the whole year and actually have fun doing it. And obviously that means that I'm doing it to my best ability if I'm having fun while doing it as well. So I'm looking forward to everything coming with this. I will keep you guys in the loop as far as what game I actually am going to be on. I'm sure you'll be able to pick up based on what videos I'm uploading, what game I'm going to be playing as well. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed, man. If you made it to the end of the video, put slashing or put finisher in the comments to show your support's made all the way through. other than that, man, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys are looking forward to all the news that I'm dropping with this stuff too. Not that I'm dropping the news, but I think that it's really convenient for most of you out there probably that I'm just able to recap this stuff really in a condensed form. I know the videos are probably like 20 minutes a piece or stuff like that, but all of this is me giving my insight, and I really do appreciate all you guys who look to me as someone who is kind of the guy when it comes to the finishing and defensive stuff too. I know I'm never gonna be seen as the guy when it comes to shooting or playmaking or anything like that, but I really am happy that I've kind of created a lane of slashing and defense that a lot of people look to me as like the guy for. I hate saying that word too, it sounds so corny, but anyway, I really do appreciate you guys look up to me in that sense when coming for that information and stuff like that. So anyway, I do appreciate you guys watching this. Like I said, if you made it to the end of the video, put finisher in the comments to support me all the way through. And on that, take it easy, man. Peace.